All right, hey everyone, Jeff here at stopthepirates.blogspot.com. Talking about the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code. Get to know it. It's kind of the law we're living under right now. It's banking law. It's international maritime admiralty law, basically. You know, I think for the most part, it's a good thing. But it's not anything like, you know, we're being taught in the government indoctrination centers. Your 12 years of Pavlovian training, debtor school. They train you how to be a debtor. And I'm trying to train people how to be a creditor, so it's a little different. Because the truth of it and the reality is that we are the creditors. And it breaks down like this. A constructive trust is created when you are born, and the trust document is your birth certificate. Many birth certificates say informant below the signature for the witness. It's where your mother signs. This is the government informant who is a witness for the state of the creation of a constructive trust. Why did I do this like this? Anyway, so you are the trustee of the trust, and the trustee must always be a natural person, and he acts as the fiduciary for the beneficiary. The beneficiary is your all caps name strawman. For instance, that's written out. That's giving me trouble. For instance, if your name is John Doe, then your strawman's name is John Doe, all caps. And you'll notice that in pretty much everything. Everybody, I think, already knows that. Anything you get in the mail with your name in all capital letters is not you. And they use a zip code, which is it's in the federal zone, which is inside the District of Columbia. So the whole thing's kind of a mind fuck. But you have to understand how it works. You're the benefit. You're the trustee for the strawman name. So your strawman is literally dead. That's why the names are in all capital letters. But he is still considered as a legal person. This strawman is simply what people in the legal field refer to as a res, R-E-S. A resident is simply a legal person called a res that is identified within a given jurisdiction, and not necessarily someone who physically lives in that jurisdiction. In the case of a taxpayer under Title 26 USC, subsection 7701A39, the place is the District of Columbia. Res is the Latin term. The subject matter of a trust or will, and in the civil law, a thing, an object. So a res, in Latin, is the subject matter of a trust or will, and in civil law, it's a thing, an object. As a term of the law, this word is very wide and extensive in its signification, including not only things which are objects of property, but also such as are not capable of individual ownership. And in Old English law, it is said to have general import, comprehending both corporeal, and incorporeal things of whatever kind, nature, or species. By res, according to the modern civilians, it means everything that may form an object of rights in opposition to persona, which is regarded as a subject of rights. Res, therefore, in its general meaning, comprises actions of all kinds. While its restricted sense, it comprehends every object of right except actions. This has reference to the fundamental division of the institutes that all law relates either to persons, to things, or to actions. Doesn't relate to you or me. Res is everything that may form an object of rights and includes an object, subject matter, or status. In Rigel's will, 11 AD, the term is particularly applied to an object, subject matter, or status considered to as the defendant in an action or as an object against which directly proceedings are taken. Thus, in a prize case, the captured vessel is the res, and proceedings of this character are said to be in rem, personam, in rem. Res may also denote the action or proceedings, as when a cause, which is not between adversary parties, it entitled in re. Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, page 1304 and 1306. I'm just going to lay down some groundwork, and we'll get into a little bit more of what's going on as far as you and I are concerned. The grantor or creator of the trust is the government. It creates the res of benefits and rights that constitute the body of entitlements you have under the law. Anyone who is a trustee is treated in law as a fiduciary for the strawman. All government or financial documents you sign containing the name of your strawman, you are signing as his fiduciary. Your decision to act as the come on. Your decision to act as the fiduciary for the strawman is a voluntary choice. Any taxes for which the strawman is liable therefore become voluntary because you didn't have to volunteer to act on behalf of the strawman. Nowadays, you don't really have a choice because they set that up at your birth when you're just, at the same day you're at the hospital, your mom gives birth to you. You're birthed. You can unvolunteer to act as a fiduciary for the strawman, the process known as UCC redemption. All allows you to gift the benefits and privileges, but not the liabilities of your strawman to a natural person, who can be either you or someone you know. And you may have heard of the term identity theft. UCC redemption essentially amounts to identity gift. So since 1933, every birth or naturalization record for every citizen of the United States is filed in the official records in Washington, D.C. This also makes all property and any assets belonging to every living, breathing United States citizen to be used as collateral for the national debt. During the year 1933, the Congress handed over control of all the post offices to the Secretary of the Treasury. And why would he do this? This is why the revenue is delivered to the government on April 15th. When an application and certificate of live birth is delivered to the Department of the Treasury in Washington, D.C., the certificate becomes bonded. There is an account produced, which we know as a Social Security number. This means there are funds borrowed against these accounts. The credit approved on paper is then invested in stocks and bonds. The Bureau of Engraving states that even the Federal Reserve uses the bond number, which is stamped on the certificate of live birth, as it is also stamped on the Federal Reserve notes themselves. The bond number has one letter, A through N, which is followed by 8 numbers. This is on the back of your Social Security card, by the way. You will notice recently printed Social Security cards are now also printed with the bond number on the back in red ink. It is the fact that every single living, breathing human being in the United States is bonded and used in commercial activities by the corporation of the United States, which has received them. That's why you are, in fact, a bonded debt slave. There have been IMFs that track commercial activity in the billions attached to the individual earnings around $50,000 a year. The government is utilizing both their name and assets to be used to trade in the drug, crude oil, and various other commodities. This just proves that all property, both real and private property, of living, breathing Americans is entrusted by Congress to provide collateral for the national debt. The government states that well over 25 million UCC statements have already been filed with UCC offices throughout the United States. Related commercial documents have been forwarded to the Secretary of the Treasury. These facts have been gathered through information acquired through the CID of the IRS, FBI, Secret Service, Justice Department, and Department of the Treasury, and the Secretary of the State. They have all confessed that no one single properly filed UCC form has ever been turned down or prosecuted for any criminal law. All right, so if you want to know more about this, go to stopthepirates.blogspot.com. Thanks.